Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with an announcement and a book haul. I want to announce that for seasons 8 and 9, which will be under production starting in the summer, we are going to be going forth with a new assistant producer, Jessie, who has made plenty of appearances. She's going to be making her discussion debut in June. She's going to be the assistant producer for the 8th and 9th season. Season 8 we plan to film from the months of May to August or September, and then season 9 we're planning to film in the fall and winter of 2018 and 2019. Season 6 has 4 more episodes to go, and season 7 will be uploaded during the summer of this year. But Jessie joined our group in September, and she's demonstrated a great deal of enthusiasm, commitment, dedication, and of course a passion and admiration for reading, books, literature, and just the written word in general. And I think that that is exactly what I'm looking for in an assistant producer to go forward with the show. And I'm really looking forward to working with her much more, for she has many spectacular ideas, and they just keep coming and coming, and she's definitely demonstrated a great deal of interest for the upcoming seasons. Funny enough, I am announcing this during a book haul to a place that she made her debut. Her very first video was in an appearance for our trip to the book garden, and earlier this month I made a trip of my own to the book garden. This is my 7th visit, and I thought I would share with you the things that I got while I was there. I was primarily there to get some children's books for a friend of mine who was collecting them for her school. And I thought that since I was there, I had to get books for myself. And I certainly did get more books for myself, because there were so many great deals of books that were in good condition for what it was worth, especially the recent ones. But even those that were not so recent are in good condition for their age. Let's get started. First thing that I'm going to share with you is Milton's Teeth and Ovid's Umbrella, Curiouser and Curiouser Adventures in History by Michael Olmert. And the reason that I got this is because I enjoy random information. I enjoy learning about different tidbits and trivia in any and all areas, and I think that this would be perfect for someone like myself, especially since there's a great level of concentration on history. I would say that history and literature are my 2 favorite areas in general. Next thing I got is Classic Irish Stories, edited by Michael P. Quinlin. And this is a collection of Irish prose from so many great writers, from W.B. Yeats to Bram Stoker to Liam O'Flaherty. And I am just eager to delve into this book and get a greater sense of Irish culture throughout it. Next thing I got is The Story of Civilization 3, Caesar and Christ by Will Durant. And it says on the front, "This brilliantly written history surveys all aspects of Roman life, politics, economics, literature, art, morals. It ends with the conflict of pagan and Christian forces and raises the curtain on the great struggle between church and state." There were a few books within this series, but I was interested in this one specifically because I want to learn more about the world during the life and times of Jesus Christ specifically, but Julius Caesar is also a fascinating person that I think that this, I'm hoping that this will help me get a greater grasp and understanding of the life and times during this period. And this is quite a mammoth. Oh, there's a list of the others on the back. Our Oriental Heritage, The Life of Greece, Caesar and Christ, The Age of Faith, The Renaissance, The Reformation, The Age of Reason, The Age of Louis XVI, The Age of Voltaire, and Rousseau and Revolution. Next book I got is Robert W. Service's Best Tales of the Yukon, which is a collection of poetry that follows the life and times in the Yukon territory. It's just really fascinating to learn more about this northwestern region. On the subject of poetry, I really got some great grabs. In a way, these are quite the antiques, having been published in this nature in 1967, and that is the Colossus and Ariel. Both are poetry collections by Sylvia Plath. These are the versions of that time, so there is more unaltered versions out there, specifically the complete collection that is out in stores and that I have held back on purchasing, but I think that Literary Gladiators has really strengthened my interest. Not necessarily my admiration or enthusiasm for Sylvia Plath, but my interest and learning more about Sylvia Plath, her life and her poetry and her writing in general is interesting. This is both of these were published by Faber Paperbacks. Continuing with poetry, I got an anthology of American poetry edited by George Gesner. And this incorporates American poetry of all forms, whether they be poetry in the general sense or the songs of American patriotism, works about home and sentiment, humor and parodies, nature, land, and sea, religious and spiritual. Even Native American poetry is featured in here, and just miscellaneous things that they could not categorize. I also got the life and works of Beethoven, which this is quite amazing the way that this is arranged, because it talks about Beethoven's life, and then it goes into the inspiration and meaning behind each of his pieces, which this is definitely something I want to get into, especially if I'm in a kick to learn more about composers. I got 16 famous American plays, all complete and unabridged. This was put together by Bennett, Cerf, and Van Cartmell. I definitely trust and admire the selections and projects of Bennett Cerf. He was a mastermind as far as literature goes. Random House has become such a big empire, and I think that a lot of it is there's a lot that you owe to Bennett Cerf for doing that. Some of the playwrights that contributed to this collection include Eugene O'Neill, Thornton Wilder, William Sororin, who is known more for his prose, incorporated a play into this collection as well, and Brooks Atkinson wrote the introduction. Something that caught my interest, and I had to get, were Stories for Men and New Stories for Men. Both were edited by Charles Grayson. It's interesting to see what defines a story for a male reader, and what the method was to putting such a thing together. I don't know if there would be if there's going to be any misogyny involved, but that's the assumption that people would make during these times. But I'm just eager to check it out and see what kind of stories are in these collections, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be appealing in some way, shape, or form. But these were put together in the late 1930s, early 1940s, and I'm definitely keen to look up how many of these were released. With my interest in John Hersey, I found two of his books that I decided to pick up. One is The War Lover, and the other one's The Conspiracy. The War Lover follows somebody that really becomes immersed in the drug that is war, and this is a version that was adapted into the film itself, so it looks like a work of pulp military fiction, but I have to read it before I make any judgments. And The Conspiracy has to do with Rome. Next thing I got is Horrors, 365 Scary Stories. This is a Barnes & Noble edition, and it was selected by Stefan Dismieniewicz, Robert Weinberg, and Martin H. Greenberg. And there's a great selection of the many lesser-known horror fiction writers, and many of them are just simply underrated. The names in here are somewhat similar in nature. And they make mention to them in the back, but these seem like short pieces, but I'm still eager to check this out anyway and see what kind of inspiration I can get if I write more horror fiction. And the last two books I got are from the contemporary genre, but I thought that for $3 each, I wasn't going to turn them down. I may check them out in the near future. One of which is 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. I'm interested in seeing what the hype of this piece is about. It is a work about a teenage girl who commits suicide, and she leaves a recording of 13 reasons why she decided to end her life, and leave it to a male acquaintance to find out the answers. I'm just curious to look into this piece and see what I think. And it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vicini, which talks about a subject who is in a mental institution following an attempted suicide, and his experiences while he was there, which Vicini himself had issues involving suicide, and he eventually ended his own life. And I think that perhaps I can get something out of reading this and learning more about conditions that may lead to someone wanting to end their lives. Those are the books that I got while I was at the book garden. I definitely plan to make more visits. I think this is a great testament of finding something new every time you go there. And I definitely am interested in going there many more times. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos on our channel. I definitely have more bookstore-specific book hauls on the way. And for now, keep reading.